So if we're asked to use counters to do this calculation, -5 subtracts -3. How do we do this? If we have -2 counters and we're asked to subtract -3 to subtract -3 counters, we do not have enough -3 counters to subtract the 3 negative counters. So we're going to use what we call zero pairs to represent nothing. But those zero pairs will have 3 negative counters, which we need. If we have zero pair, we now have 3 negative counters. Okay, adding the zero pair has not changed anything. But what it has done, it has made us have 3 negative counters. So now if we take 3 negative counters away, our answer is +1. I want you to know that 2 negatives seated next to each other is positive. Now, something new you have learned is a negative and a negative next to each other will result in a positive. So if we had used this method, which we will do in the next stage of our lesson, this would become 5 add 3, which is 8. So using what we've learned just now, what I told you, these 2 negatives will be positive. So that it's the same thing as saying -5 add 1, which would be -4. And I'm sure you've noticed that 2 negatives next to each other result in positive. Now, why this is useful is that we can begin to use this method to do some really interesting calculations when it involves large numbers. So imagine if you were asked to do this calculation, 413 subtract -64, you're not going to use counters to do this, will you? That is why having this knowledge that the 2 negatives next to each other is actually positive will help you rewrite the calculation as 413 add 64.